My name is Laura Pritchard. I am a missionary to Liberia, West Africa from West Michigan. And I am excited, inspired, and passionate about being a bridge between African Americans and West Africans. So join us in a conversation for Black History Month, literally trying to build that bridge and connect you to West Africa.
I'm Eric Michael Washington. I am professor of history and Africana studies at Calvin University. And my passion is to link African Americans or all Africans of the diaspora with the continent, especially Liberia.
So join us as we talk about the connection between Liberia and African Americans here in the United States. You are going to love this conversation and you're going to learn a lot. And we pray you'll be inspired to even go across the water with us. We'll see you Black History Month. Well, I remember when we worked with the young people who are Liberians. They were elementary age, middle school, and high school age, and how they enjoyed learning about their home country.
Yeah.
Some of them were born here. Some of them were very little when they came here, so they didn't know much, didn't remember much. So to talk about the ethnic groups that they were connected to talk about the history of African Americans leaving here and going over there, I remember being exhilarated.
Yeah, that was good.
But what I remember most about that was the night you spoke, and you spoke about basically it was Pan-Africanism.
Yeah.
And maybe for some people that phrase or that word Pan-Africanism, maybe it carries some connotations, but for me it's about love, it's about unity, it's about the diaspora, the African diaspora, and bringing us together. And when I heard you spoke, Professor Washington, I don't remember exactly what you said. What the feeling I got was this gentleman loves the diaspora, loves God's people, and desires to see us unified and strengthened. And I remember as you were speaking, there were tears in my eyes. I felt what you were saying. So yeah. You say, I didn't even know I was a Pan-Africanist until I started to read, about Garvey and others. I would even say maybe Henry Highland Garnett, that word, that phrase, and I was like, you know what? Yes, that's who I am. That's what I believe. In my journal, I wrote, I believe it was in 2005, and I believe I was in Senegal at that time, and I wrote something like, I desire to be an agent of reconciliation between, I think I wrote West Africans, I may have said Africans and African Americans. And that was kind of like a prayer that I wrote in my journal. And not knowing that was, I guess you would say, the Pan-African heart that God was placing in me or growing in me at that time. And so to meet others like yourself who we have this sense of, we have this connected root, and that needs to be explored. And I know for me personally, Professor, I always used to think, when I would think of myself historically as an African American, it would always begin with slave, the slave identity. And it wasn't, and I don't know how old I was. At some point I realized, wait, our identity goes beyond this side of the Atlantic. We were peoples in these ethnic groups that come from various locations, probably mostly West Africa, but maybe other parts, that were brought over here. And so who am I from the other side of the Atlantic? Right. And to whom am I connected to on the other side of the Atlantic?
Yeah, no, I understand that perfectly. And my realization came in college when I was in sociology class and we had to do a family tree. And I don't think I got beyond my own personal knowledge. I couldn't get beyond my great-grandparents. And I remember just making up that, okay, my family comes from Africa, just in general.
Right.
And at least I had an inkling about a European ancestry because of enslavement.
Yeah.
and being from South Louisiana. But that initiated a quest for me that I'm still on, about trying to find my route beyond the Atlantic, on the other side of the Atlantic, and then in studying, learning about men like Kwame Nkrumah, for instance, in college, and learned that he was a Pan-Africanist, and I came full circle in 2018 at the mausoleum in Accra, Ghana, and just being there, I said I've come full circle, and I felt complete in a sense.